I know it's silly, but man, do I love having that intro playing at the beginning on its own. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. Guys, tonight we're doing a top 10. Top 10s are back. We're doing an MCU top 10. Well, the top MCU movies. You've got a guest with us tonight. Miss that Valkyrie girl, Megan. How are you?
I am good. I am ready to get into this. I have been watching, I think I watched 3 or 4 of these that I've listed down over the last day or two because I'm like, I need to make sure that they're good. I have bullet points. I am so prepared.
You mean you've watched 3 or 4 of the movies?
Yeah, in like the last
that's hilarious. You know what? And we're doing a top 10 MCU movies, and I haven't watched a single MCU movie in ages, so I'm the worst. I know. I'm the worst. Hey, before we keep going, Micah Padre, Mr. Jeff at Messiah Complex Cosplay, wearing his cardigan, glasses, the whole deal. And he cut the bottom of the thing. It's only a mustache now. It's like every day you're like morphing into something different.
Got to keep them on their toes. Got to keep them guessing, right? Since my facial hair seems to be the topic of conversation so often, we got to keep switching it up, you know? Got to keep the people guessing and moving. And by the way, if you're the worst when it comes to MCU movies, I think I might have you beat on this one, sir. I don't know the last MCU movie I watched. It's been a time.
Yeah, you've been kind of turned off on the MCU
turned off for a while. Yeah.
For a while.
Everything post Endgame has been rough for me. So yeah. But
yeah, I mean, I have one movie post Endgame on my list.
Yeah, same.
Which I don't think anybody's going to be able to argue with. You know,
no, I don't think so
that
either.
Was
but, Michael in the chat there? The Wicked Witch of Toronto West is here in the YouTube chat.
So, guys, just in case you didn't know, we were talking on Instagram because we do have a pre-show called Technical Difficulties. That's right. I'm saying this as if the people that are watching us here now weren't all on Instagram just before this.
Oh, no, but anybody checking us out on YouTube after the fact, it's good for them to know, right?
There you go. So we're live at 6:45 every week, right before the show on Thursday nights.
Only Eastern on time. Instagram.
Only on Instagram.
Yes.
We were talking about a previous top 10 that we've done, mainly the villains. It was the best one.
100%.
No argument there.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Megan's like,
we're going to leave it at that.
I wish to argue. Please, I wish to argue.
Right.
Okay, wow. So the comments are already coming in pretty fast. Steve is saying Jeff is a mustache king.
Steve,
I mean, no doubt. Jeff's
right
facial hair game is
brother.
On point every single week.
There, Beardley McBeardson, your facial hair is epic. I love your beard because now I've seen you both, and the beard is chef's kiss.
You mean you've seen me without a beard?
Yeah, when we did.
You don't want to see me without a beard. No,
I would, dude. You were Alfred Molina. You were
exactly.
Octavius. It was perfect. Yeah. Andrew Saxon. Andrew, ill-gotten hugs. Finally, I made your YouTube broadcast. Thank you so much, dude. I've been wondering where you are. That's amazing.
How you doing?
Hopefully, we're going to see Andrew at Toronto Comic Con.
Andrew did Kite Man last year, right?
Yes. Andrew is. That's definitely Andrew's. Couldn't be any more Andrew's wheelhouse if you try. Andrew really likes to do uncommon characters that not like his Krampus is great. Yeah, his Kite Man is amongst my favorite. He was also Gandalf when we did our Lord of the Rings.
That's right. He was Gandalf. That's right.
There's Becca. Not possible. Hello.
Oh, hello. So, okay. Guys, top 10 movies. We're going to keep this to top 10 MCU movies. Okay. That's the first thing that we're going to put in place as a hard rule. We're not talking about all Marvel movies. We are only today talking about MCU movies.
Aye, lad.
Because criteria.
Yes, because criteria. I will let the Hulk pass, even though it's not technically MCU.
The Incredible Hulk, you mean?
No, the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is MCU. It's technically...
You're talking about like the Eric Bana movie?
Yeah.
Just Hulk?
Yes.
You're calling that MCU?
I would let that slide.
Well, no one's
Anything
going to pick it
beyond that-
anyway, so I think we're
Exactly.
going to be
The
okay.
point I'm trying to make is nobody's going to pick that anyway, right? So I would let that one slide.
Well,
Anything
don't worry,
beyond
you're
that,
fine.
it has to be a Marvel-produced Disney movie.
Criteria shots fired. Listen, Steve. All right. She can
Uh,
take criteria and
beyond that, do we have any other criteria? I don't think so.
no, it's just MCU, right? I mean, if you go
MCU.
you type in MCU movies, you will get a list of the MCU,
That's right.
starting with the Incredible Hulk and ending with whatever that last hunk of shit. I mean, whatever that last movie was.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So, with that said, who wants to start? Let's start talking about MCU movies because there are a lot of them. We're not going to get through all of them because at one point they're just going to be bottom tier for all of us. Actually, before we get started, let's talk about quickly something that we all figured out pre-show. Everybody has their, like, in my case was 7 that were solidly in my top 10. Everything below 7 for me was either a mid-tier movie or a bottom of the barrel movie. So I had a hard time coming up with an actual 10 names because some of them are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Right? Like my bottom 3 could be interchanged with a number of other MCU movies. Which is probably how we're going to end the night, is just naming a couple and seeing where they rank with the others. But we're not going to go through all of the MCU. We are keeping this to our top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Megan, did you want to get started?
Okay, if I'm kicking this off, and we're going mid-list up.
Start where you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dealer's choice.
Okay, I'm going to toss out then my number 5, which is Black Panther. The first one.
Okay.
Okay, so who with that one? So my points for this, that it needs to be within the top 10. The world building for this was amazing. Like, just visually, this entire movie was stunning. The costuming, the sets, everything, just chef's kiss. Perfect. And then for the actual storyline, people that know me will know when I say that, like, I think Killmonger is, I'm not going to say the best MCU villain, because I still think, I'd say he's on par with Loki, personally for me. That is the only villain that I've seen where the death ended up with, like, actual genuine emotion and a change in the hero for the better. Like, without Killmonger, they're not going to be going and doing all the humanitarian aid that they were going to do in the US after that movie. It's not happening. They were going to stay isolated. They were going to keep doing what T'Challa's dad did. And then this happened. And it was just, yes.
I'll say this. I agree that Killmonger is one of the best villains to come out of the MCU for me. I don't even really like Michael B. Jordan as an actor overall. He's done some okay stuff. I've never just been oh, wow, I love this guy. I think he's so good, right? But in this, he was amazing.
So
good. For me, was the only really good part of that first movie. I thought the first movie was okay. For me, Black Panther is one of those interchangeable ones, right? Like, for me, he's at the bottom of my list.
But it's still on your list.
He is. Don't get me wrong. There's something to be said about what the Black Panther movie meant to the MCU and the world at large, the fandom at large, right? As far as a story, it was just another basic story. It was another Iron Man versus Iron Man, Panther versus Panther, Flash versus Flash. You know, it's always the same trope that we just got the same thing again. So for me, it was okay. And I'm going to get some heat for that, for what I'm about to say, but I think that the acting in the second movie, I think, was better than in the first movie. As dumb as the second movie, the story was for me, the acting, I thought, was some of the scenes that they had in that movie just blew my mind.
I would say, I think going from that, it helped for the acting in the second movie that the actors were drawing on, like, a real well of grief.
100%.
And you can tell. You can
for
really
sure. Tell. And you could tell, and but you also believe it, right? It's you never feel like they're out of character in their grieving for T'Challa / Chadwick Boseman, right? Because it feels right and it feels true and it feels real to the story.
Yes.
The beginning of that movie was amazing.
It was.
The beginning of that movie, I was all in. I was like, okay, this is going to be a great movie. It's the rest, specifically the end, that I was like, really? But anyway, I don't want to get into it because we're not talking about the second one. We're talking about the first one.
First one.
Jeff, did you have anything to add to the discussion of?
No.
Okay.
Just nope.
No? I'm assuming Black Panther's not even on your list.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so. Okay. So then what is on your lists?
Oh, you want me to go next?
Yes.
For my mid-tier one, I am going. Okay, guys, buckle in because if here we go, this is going to piss so many people off.
Oh no.
Eternals.
Oh.
I
Okay.
can't argue on that because I haven't seen it.
My case for Eternals, and I know this is going to fall on a lot of deaf ears, but that's okay. One of the things that I think Black Panther actually does well is the world building and the character building in Eternals is, in my mind, better than almost anything else that the MCU has done, mostly because it doesn't rely on the rest of the MCU for its world building and its character building, as a lot of the MCU leans into a lot of the other MCU to kind of prop it up and get it where it needs to be. Eternals, because of the time frame and because of the locations it takes place in, stands on its own. And I felt that the character and the world building in that was so good that it really put it over the top. And of course, you guys know, if you know me at all, you know I am more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. And it's commonly held that this is the most DC of the Marvel movies that have been released.
100%.
Yeah. And I know there was a whole bunch of right-wing nut jobs that came out with the whole "it's too woke," blah, 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 because it has a diverse cast, but everybody killed it. I thought some of the standouts were Gilgamesh. Obviously, the actor that played Gilgamesh killed it. Having Salma Hayek in there, Kumail Nanjiani, so good as Kingo, so good, and got completely ripped out. And then Rob Stark. I mean, the Richard Madsen. I thought he was fantastic in the film as well. Even Angelina Jolie in a smaller role. Barry Keoghan. Sorry, man. Now I'm just picking out everybody. Everybody's fantastic, guys. Like, it's a very, very good film. It's an expertly well crafted film, and yeah, I just fell in love with it. I watched it like 30 times now. I love the movie. So, and again, I know I'm in the minority on that one, but
so the movie gets a lot of flack online. A lot of people say they hate the Eternals, but when I speak to people, most of the people that I speak to tell me, yeah, it was all right. Like it wasn't crazy good, but it was an all right movie. I liked it. I liked Eternals. I liked that it brought something a little bit different to the MCU that we hadn't had at this point. I'm also a big fan of DC. So this felt like an old school DC anime. Or not anime, but
animated movie. Yeah.
Animated movie.
Yeah. If you're one of those people like me where you get tired of watching the same Marvel formula movie over and over and over again, Eternals is the film for you, because it's not that. It's a departure from that. So, Megan, what do you think? Oh, you haven't seen it, Megan.
I haven't seen it, so I can't argue that it shouldn't be in the top 10.
Eternals, boo. The name is Marvel Cinematic Universe. They break their own canon in that one. It is still Marvel, you geek.
You just said, though, the reason that you like it is that it's not tied into the rest of the MCU for the plot.
I said it's not as tied in. They still make references. Blade ends up talking to Kit Harington there, Jon Snow, at the end when he is about to come the Black Knight. They're asked specifically why they didn't join in the fight against Thanos. It's not like they don't reference the greater MCU. I just feel like they don't use it like a crutch like a lot of the other MCU movies do by forcing so many different other MCU elements to prop up some of like this shot. Captain America Civil War is a good example, right? That's not a good movie. If you do plot breakdowns of that film, it's actually pretty terrible, but there's enough of the rest of the MCU stuff there to prop it up that it turns into an enjoyable, entertaining watch of a film. But as a film itself, it's dreadful. Don't ever do a plot breakdown of that movie. You will go cross-eyed. It's brutal.
Wasn't going to. It's
Yeah.
not. Nope.
So I think that's why Eternals gets as much shit as it does, because it doesn't use all those elements to prop up what some people feel is not as strong a story as some of the other MCU films. I just disagree. I think the story was fantastic. The moral dilemma of, do we sacrifice the Earth to birth the Celestial? That Celestial will then go on to create billions or trillions of lives, or do we save the Earth, kill the Celestial, and now all of those lives, progress doesn't happen, evolution doesn't happen, blah, blah, blah. Like that moral quandary, I thought was fantastic. I do think it's kind of sad that all the MCU things that went after this all completely ignored that there's a giant stone celestial popping out of the ocean in the middle of the earth. But, oh, sorry, Megan, spoiler alert.
I've seen that on the internet of like just photos of it in memes. I'm like, I assume it's from Eternals.
It sure is.
Yeah,
and it sure happened, and they don't talk about it on any of the other MCU stuff. Yeah. They keep saying, no, Harry Styles has a cameo at the end. He plays Star Fox, who's the brother of Thanos, Eros. And they keep saying that he is under contract. They are going to feature him again as that character. So
really,
we'll see how they build him in. But there's no guarantee we're going to get another Eternals is the point. So,
but Star Fox is not an Eternal, though, is he?
He says he is. In that post-credit scene, he says he is. And again, in canon, in the comics, Thanos is technically an Eternal.
Oh, is he really now?
With the deviant gene. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, I didn't know that. All right.
Anywho,
so let's stop talking about Eternals, because we've been talking now for 20 minutes and
we've
only gone to 2 middle tier ones.
That's fine.
So let's go back to the list here.
Keith is saying, didn't they mention that Celestial and She-Hulk, like a newspaper article or something? Maybe I didn't watch She-Hulk, so I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yep.
They might have. I haven't watched She-Hulk either.
There you go. Megan has. Maybe that's how you. Maybe that's why you have the backdoor reference.
For everybody on screen, the list is over here.
I have seen She-Hulk.
Okay.
Are we okay with this? I don't think Eternals goes up over Black Panther.
I'm good with it below Black Panther.
Totally cool. Your pick, JS.
All right. Well, since we're 20 minutes in and it doesn't look like we're going to get to my movie, I'm going to go big.
You were the one that wanted to start in the middle.
Or go home. Okay, fine. I'll start in the middle. I'm going to start just below the middle for me. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit surprised that when I started looking at the Marvel movies, that this movie fell so low on my lists, considering how much I really loved the movie and I ranted and talked about it. And sorry, I'm trying to keep talking so I can find the damn image here. Come on now. See, this is where we need producer Jen. And producer Jen's not available, and I look like a moron.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
And Bo, there we go. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, No Way Home, okay. I was never a massive fan of the original Spider-Man movies. I had issues with some of the changes that they made to the character of Spider-Man and how they portrayed who should have been a teenager as like a 30-year-old, for crying out loud, right? So,
welcome to movies in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Beyond all of that, we finally got an actual Spider-Man movie. And Tobey Maguire was significant in what that meant to the world of superhero movies. I enjoyed, as much as everybody hated, I enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man movies much more than the Tobey Maguire movies. But this damn movie brought them both back. Right? Like, we were talking about this again earlier today, Jeff. Hits all the nostalgia points that it needed to hit to really suck us in and make us want to see this movie. And it turned out to be good. I loved how they did the Green Goblin story. I loved how they fixed Otto's thing and he becomes Otto again. I loved everything about this movie. I shouldn't say I loved everything about this movie. There were some things with Doctor Strange specifically that I was like, okay, like, but I'm not the hugest fan of Doctor Strange. My only issue with that movie is that they basically took him out of the MCU now. now that nobody knows who he is, does Spider-Man even exist in the MCU anymore, or is he gone? So that's where we're now left with this character. Is he just going to go back to Sony now, and they're never going to be part of the MCU again, and they're never going to talk about Spider-Man, or they're going to bring some other Spider-Man, some new, maybe Miles will be the next Spider-Man.
They can't do that, not in the MCU.
Well, they can't. You're right.
Yeah.
They can't because it's owned by Sony. So
correct.
That's my only issue with the way they did this movie at the end. But otherwise, I loved it. It was a great movie. It's still only 6 on my list, but yeah.
I would say it's 8 on mine. So
there you go.
I think it's 6 on my list too. I'm going to say 2 things about this movie. One, this movie for me is a movie in 2 parts, and the first half is boring as all fuck, and it doesn't get good until the second half. I'm sorry, but it is. The first act to act and a half, even into a good way through the second act, is boring. It does not get good. The second thing I want to point out is the only parts of this movie, even in that back half, that don't work for me are actually the MCU parts, because all the best elements of this film are from the Sony side of things.
Yeah, you're right.
Green Goblin, Otto Octavius, even Jamie Foxx, all of the villains, they're all Sony villains. Not a single one of them are MCU characters. The only real MCU character in this film is Doctor Strange, and they disable him about a third of the way through the movie, and you don't see him again till the end, which is good because he actually doesn't fit in the rest of the film at all.
No, he doesn't.
And then you get Andrew Garfield, and then you get Tobey Maguire. All the best elements of this film have nothing to do with the MCU on any level. It's all based on all the Sony films that came before. And now, because of Morbius and Venom and everything else, everybody wants to shit on Sony. Guys, Sony made the best Spider-Man films that have ever been made. I'm sorry, but they did. And you know that they did because you all came out to watch this movie. $1.5 billion worth of you came out to watch this movie for those elements specifically. Those were the elements that worked in this film, not Doctor Strange and not any of the other ties. Although I will say, for me, this was Zendaya's best outing to date by far. She was barely there in the first 2 Spider-Man films, but to be fair, those were barely there, those films. I didn't think either one of those were very good. But she kills it in this movie. She's very, very good. I haven't watched Euphoria, so I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, but she is excellent in this movie. Megan, what do you think?
I would say I'm totally good with this being on the list. I agree with you for the plot points. I was a bit iffy on the only other Spider-Man one from the Tom Holland trilogy that I was going to consider putting on my list would have been the very first one, just based off of Keaton's performance. It was so good to me. I really liked that.
No. Keaton was great. Keaton's always great.
Yeah, because Keaton. But yeah, no, this one won out and was the Spider-Man one that I included in my top 10. So
yeah,
no objections.
Excellent. Put it on the list, Jazz.
You know, I mean, so far, I'll be honest, Keaton was great. And so was oh wow, his name just flew out of my head. Mysterio. Sorry?
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, thank you. He was amazing as well as Mysterio. I loved him as Mysterio. Again, I had issues with how that movie was played out, but I thought he played a great character. You believe he's a good guy at the first, and you're like, what the fuck, man? Why is he a good guy, right? Like, that makes no sense. Like, this is dumb. Anyway.
Nobody is who they appear to be in that film.
So
right?
Nobody appears. No, you're right.
Fury and Hill are both Skrulls, and
they're both Skrulls. Yeah.
Mysterio is not the 616 Mysterio. He's that Earth's Mysterio. That's just a piece of shit. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would put that at number 1 based on what we have there, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I'm of the same. Megan. Oh.
I'd put it below Black Panther still.
He's way higher than Black Panther on my lists.
Yeah, way higher than Black Panther on my list too.
Okay, it's below Black Panther on mine, but since you guys it's still on there, so that's fine.
This isn't a democracy; it's a geekocracy.
Okay,
so
let's remember this one, and let's keep in mind that
there's going to be ones above these. So I mean, it's not. Yeah. No Way Home.
I believe it is back to Megan's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. I already know what the reaction to this is going to be. So my number 4 is Thor: The Dark World.
Sorry.
Yep,
My apologies.
I was prepared for that.
Is there a number 27 on the list? Can we put that? How many MCU movies have there been? Because whatever it is, that's the last.
You got it out of your system? Can I explain now?
You can try, darling, but I please explain this fucking movie to me.
Okay, so in the world of MCU movies, this is the only one that actually shows like Asgard and its people and its culture to give you something to give a shit about when it's destroyed in Ragnarok. Because every other movie has just been, oh, look, Asgard, puff, we're going somewhere else.
Mhm.
Okay, from there on, in this movie, there's...
She has notes.
I have notes. This is the one that I needed notes for because I knew there would be objections. Okay, there is actually notable character growth in Thor from the first movie and Avengers to this one. You can see that he's learned how to deal with, Earth, its people, its customs. When he goes to Jean's place with meeting with Selvig and everyone, he like hangs the hammer on the coat rack because he has all of his friends' things on the coat rack. So he's joining in, he's learning, which they then throw all to shit in Ragnarok, but that's fine. We're not talking about that. It actually incorporates meaningful screen time for some of the side characters to give character development to them because we don't give a shit about them up until this point. So we actually learn about Frigga. We see her do things. That way there's some sort of emotion when she gets murdered. We see Fandral, we see Sif, Volstagg, Heimdall, even Odin. Like, it really fleshes out his character a lot in this movie. You get to see, like, the emotion he had for his wife and the questionable warmongering decisions that he makes as a ruler. Okay, it definitely has the best show of the...
worst Thor movie. Hashtag no justice for Thor Dark
Eric
World.
is saying worst Thor movie. Hashtag worst Thor movie. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hashtag no justice for Dark World. Please continue.
It has the best showing of the complicated family dynamic within like Thor and Loki and everyone. It actually goes into the emotion for that. And with that, like, it actually has a good balance of like drama and action and humor. And the humor that it does have in it isn't at the expense of turning their main character into a punchline.
JS, do you feel like you're being trolled right now? I feel like we're being trolled right now. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I knew I was going to get roasted for Eternals, but this is bold.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there, Megan.
I'm putting it on my list.
I agree with everything you just said there, Megan, except for the last part when you talked about how it was, you know, action-packed and funny and you know.
Not that it was funny. It had moments of humor.
Yeah, so
like I running around Stonehenge naked type of humor, that kind of really terrible, awful humor. Is that the humor that we're referring to? Is that
like interactions between characters?
Oh, okay, all right. Brutal.
Yeah,
moody Thor and boring villain equals terrible film.
Yeah, this is one of my very bottom MCU movies.
I think this is widely regarded as the worst MCU film. Like, if you look up lists of the worst MCU films, this almost always ranks number one.
I don't know, man. Love and Thunder is pretty bad.
Well, I mean,
really
pre-Love and Thunder, but no, I agree. But holy fucking shit, this movie
what was the other one that I watched that
bad.
I was like, this is really bad? It was one of the recent ones too, I thought. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you do make some good points, and I do like the fleshing out of the side characters. You absolutely have that right,
100%.
especially since they get jettisoned in the next film.
Yeah,
I could not agree more. You just made everything about the film, like all of the side pieces are good, but then the movie itself, the way the movie is put together, the plot lines of the film, how absolutely morose and mopey you're saying he had some character growth. I mean, he just got super emo mood. I don't know if he smiles once in that entire film. He's really mopey. Well, okay, not like he does in the first one, and not like he does in the third one. He's super mopey.
Yes, the third one when they turn him into a himbo, where he just thinks everything is.
I will shit on Ragnarok all day long, but that doesn't mean just because Ragnarok is not good because of that doesn't mean this is good because it's the opposite. This is still not good, in my opinion. The merits of it don't prop it up enough to make this a good film. It's just the hottest garbage.
The fact that it has a bad villain or just a basic villain that you can actually hate
no, you're right. No, you're right in the first place. It was a bad villain.
Make it bad.
Oh, terrible. No, not automatically, but
I feel
other
like the
70
problem with
points.
this movie is it was never supposed to be about the villain. It was supposed to
Yeah,
be about
it's
Loki,
not.
right?
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be about the relationship between Thor and Loki dying,
You must be
dying.
truly desperate.
right? That's what it was
Come
supposed to
to
be
know.
about. So they
You must
brought
be
in
truly
this.
It's a
desperate
good movie for that.
to pick this film on your list. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Wherever you want to put that. 4.
Yeah, I'm putting that dead last. I'm sorry, Megan. I'm taking
I
an executive
know.
decision
I
here.
just had to say it. I had to say my piece.
I mean,
I have complex notes. Gather around, children. Megan's going to educate us on how.
I
good Thor: The Dark
appreciate it,
World
and I
is.
agree with
Also-
everything you said.
Just rewatching that, it is a beautifully shot movie. Like everything about the cinematography in that is stunning. And as someone who really likes fantasy, it's hard to do that in the MCU world where everything else is, well, not everything else, but most other good ones are based on Earth.
See, I actually prefer the first film for that level of how they portrayed Asgard and such. I know it was a smaller
didn't see a
piece
lot
of
of
the
it,
first. I know it's a smaller piece, but what Kenneth Branagh did is he lent it that Shakespearean air. He really made you feel like you were in a mystical other realm, whereas in some of the other ones, it just feels like you're just like walking around someone's castle. Like it doesn't feel as
See, I think this one has it
transportive.
as well. Like you get into the nitty gritty of it. Like you see their technology when she's working the Soul Forge. You get
No,
to find
yeah,
out
I
about like
know.
the weaponry
Just-
and the ships and all the little
Oh,
unique things that
just
they brought in from like Norse mythology and
so
Scandinavian
bad.
styling.
Oh,
It was a great
worst.
world building experience. The story just was lacking, right?
Holy
It
shit. There was a
just Fell
story?
short.
yeah, what? Sorry. Anyways, moving right along. Whose turn is it?
Yours.
I believe it's your turn.
Hey! All right. Let's do this. Let's do the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which one?
The first one. The second one's the hottest garbage as well. So the second one is one of my all-time worst MCU films, right up there with Thor: The Dark World, to be honest with you.
I mean, I can agree with you on the
Yep.
Guardians one being bad.
So the first one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the case for this one is fairly simple, and I get it. It definitely has Ragnarok vibes. It is goofy. There's no question that it's goofy. I know for some folks, Megan, it's an automatic on the bottom of the pile as soon as it's goofy. However, this one in particular, I felt was goofy with a lot of hearts. It was goofy with stakes. It was goofy with characters that it spent enough time with that you end up falling in love with some of these characters. What they ended up doing with a lot of those characters after this movie was terrible, but you can't look at it when you first watch that film. You don't know what's going to happen to a lot of these characters. When you first see this film, those characters are there and they accomplish exactly what they're meant to accomplish. Each one of them has their moment. Each one of them has their place. And together, again, the stakes aren't very high. The villain's kind of like blah, like we get Ronan the Accuser. I like Lee Pace, but who cares? Like it doesn't really mean anything. But to take this many obscure characters from a comic book that really nobody has got a clue about, to take an up and rising star like Chris Pratt that really put him on the map with this film. Zoe Saldana kills it. This is again the start of Dave Bautista's career too, and he's turned into a very accomplished wrestler turned actor. Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel. I mean, what's not to love about this film? It's just a shame what happened to this whole franchise right after this, but I love this. I think this was a fantastic film. It's a lot of fun. It speaks to adults and kids. It's a crowd pleaser. Just shut your brain off and shut up and watch the film. Like it's just a fun ride. Is what it's meant to be. That's what this is supposed to be. It's not trying to tell you a deeply characterized world building tale. Some movies don't do that. This isn't Thor: The Dark World. This isn't the Eternals. This is meant to be fun. And fun in a less goofy way for me than Ragnarok or Love and Thunder. Fun in a way that's got heart. That's how I see this. They had a group of ragtags in a comic series not many know about and nailed it. Yeah, in my opinion, I agree. This is the perfect James Gunn vehicle. You couldn't ask for a better movie for him to be involved in.
That was from our buddy Steve Jones.
Yep, Andrew Saxon makes a
Groot
good
in
point
London.
too. Guardians was a great one and completely suited to Gunn. This is his wheelhouse, man. I'm telling you, this is where this guy lives. I'm excited for Booster Gold on the DC side because I think it's going to have this very same vibe. And I hope Gunn is going to be in on the writing of Booster Gold series when that comes out because plus Steve Jones, I am Groot. I knew you would like this pick, Steve. Anyway, sorry. I've gushed enough about Guardians. Go ahead, guys. I know what Megan's opinion on this is. Megan, do you want to jump in here and give us the other side of this argument?
Yeah, I'll let Megan talk because I agree almost 100% with everything you just said again. But this time I did enjoy the fact that it was just a fun action movie, right?
Yeah.
It didn't take itself too seriously, and it in the end it worked. It made you want to like these characters, right?
Bunch of
Megan,
a-holes.
that was my piece. Go ahead.
I don't know. I personally, Guardians isn't the worst. It's probably like mid-range of the like 30 whatever movies there have been from the MCU.
Well,
For
that's
me,
that's
like,
okay.
it's
Yeah.
not awful.
Mid-tier for you. Yeah.
It wouldn't even come close to near the top of my list. Like, I'd be putting like Doctor Strange and Shang-Chi and most other things in front of this, but
Wait, really?
yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think she's breaking up. We're losing her connection. What's Go ahead,
Okay.
Megan. Do you have
I
anything
already
else?
know I'm going to be outvoted, but like, you say that there's no plot line in Dark World, whereas this is the same thing. There's a group of random characters who are interacting, and then suddenly, oh, there's an Infinity Stone that we need to try and get away from the bad guy.
Yeah. Would you like to know the difference between those two films? It starts with an F, it has a U in it, and it ends with an N. Thor: The Dark World is the least fun movie I've ever watched in my life. It's like doing my taxes. Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun movie. That's what it's built on. That's what you're supposed to feel. If you don't get that, that's okay. You don't have to. But if you don't get it, you're not going to enjoy the film. If it's not fun to you, then yeah, it's just going to be a slog for you.
It was
like
it
Thor:
was
The Dark
fun.
World
It
is a
was
slog
fine.
for the
it's
rest
not
of
one
us.
that I would want to rewatch because there's any like nuance to it. But
Oh, I've seen
Hashtag
Guardians
that's
multiple
valid.
times.
Yes, I have to.
that is your
Again,
opinion, and you're
I
entitled.
really hate where this series went and where these characters ended up.
Same.
It
Well,
might
This
be,
one-
I might
This
be getting
one-
biased based off of the other things I've seen them in afterwards. I haven't rewatched Guardians since the first time that I saw it, but
Have
If
you
you can
seen the
try to
Christmas
go into it with
special?
fresh eyes.
Have you seen the Christmas special?
no, I haven't seen the Christmas special.
Oh my god. I mean, you don't like Guardians, so I mean, you
After
won't
the
enjoy
second
it,
one,
but
I can't.
the Christmas
it
special
hurts.
is amazing. It takes all the silliness and it turns it all on its head, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Okay, we need to talk about the lists. I mean, what are we doing here? Where are we putting Guardians on the lists?
I would say 5. I know you're going to disagree.
On that list,
No.
I would put it at 3. If it was my list, it would actually be 2, but I would acquiesce to 3.
If it's below Black Panther, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure for me.
Okay, well, it's definitely going to
Um,
be above Eternals, so 3 seems like a
yeah,
good spot
okay.
then, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
The Guardians of the freaking Galaxy, man.
Alrighty. Whose turn is it?
Well, that was me.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, man.
So I guess it's my turn.
Give her.
I should have started looking for my damn image ahead of time. I should have prepared is what I should have
Come
done.
on, gotta get on that.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it right away. For me, the next one kind of has to be Endgame. I know for a lot of people, Endgame is their top movie of all the MCU. For me, not even close. But it is on my top 10. For me, Endgame is another one that's about mid-tier. It really closed off the story that we started. Was it 2008?
Yep.
2007, 2008.
Yep, 2008.
That story is now over. Everything after that is a new story, right? We're telling a new story.
Yeah.
In that same world that we've tried to build, but now we're telling new stories and trying to rebuild that world that we've already built. So that was kind of that bookend, appropriately named Endgame. We lost a lot of people. It was emotional for a lot of reasons. We've had character redemptions. We've had characters show up that could have not been in the movie at all, and it wouldn't have made a difference. We had some funny parts. We had some funny quips between people that we had never seen interact before. We had all new interactions between characters, specifically Ant-Man and, for example, Rhodey. I mean, some of those quips are genius. Yeah. Endgame has to be on my top 10, but for me, again, nowhere near the top.
Yeah, we really only lost 2. And even of those 2, one of them got a movie right after that. So it's yeah, so we really only lost Tony and Natashi. Natasha and Tony, and Natasha got a movie right after, out of sequence, obviously, but still, she still got, you got to see more Black Widow after she died. Tony's really the only one and same with Vision. You got to see more Vision after Vision died. So, yeah, we really only lost Tony throughout this. My argument for this is the exact same as my argument for No Way Home. The front half of this movie is okay. There are some fun interactions, like when Steve fights himself and, you know, the whole America's ass thing. Like, there's some cute little moments here and there, but a lot of it's just a slog. But fuck me, man. When those portals start opening up and he finally says Avengers Assemble, I'm getting goosebumps right now. That's probably the greatest cinematic sequence we're ever going to see on. Like, I don't know what would ever happen that would ever top that. Yeah. On your left. Come on, man. Like, he's got the he gets the hammer, bruh.
Yeah, he finally gets the
10 years of movies build up to this final sequence, this final battle. All the time travel stuff, Drek, all dumb, all super dumb. Didn't like any of it. But the payoff, chef's goddamn kiss.
Yeah, the payoff for this was great. Like, I have Endgame on mine. It's number 3 for my list. And I just have a note underneath where it's just like, this movie made me cry like a baby the way nothing ever has. And it's such a satisfying way to wrap up a storyline. Like, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, it was number 5 on my list overall. So
Andrew says, I'd have to put the original Avengers far above Endgame. Love seeing the team, their dynamics. Yeah. This felt more like, I can't read there.
Trying to tie up threads. Yeah, it's definitely bringing up loose ends. There's no question there. Like, that's what this movie is called, Endgame. that's what it's meant to do.
Mm-hmm. But I agree. You know, for me, the original Avengers was way higher on the list. Actually, it's funny that I've got 3 of the 4 Avengers movies on my list.
Yeah, the three good ones. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, the other one was also good, but
Age of Ultron?
Yeah, I didn't.
Ugh.
Ultron was one of the only villains that they properly, like, when you watch the Age of Ultron series, for example, in the old Avengers cartoons, when you read the Age of Ultron comic books, there's a way that story goes, and it's the most like the Age of Ultron of all of the Marvel movies. But it didn't make my top 10, you know, so.
Nor should it.
That's that. All right, where do we put this one on the lists?
I'm going to put it above everything that's there right now.
I would agree.
So you would put it right at number 1? Really?
Well, no, we would put it above everything that's on the
list. I mean,
list.
for me, see, Endgame comes right below No Way Home, but okay. No, I can deal with that.
I would. Just from the catharsis, it's, you can't.
Yep.
Endgame, man.
I'm cool with that.
All the emotions. So many emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Megan, I believe it's your turn.
It is.
Okay. Well, going up, I would say you just said my number 3. So number 2 that I have for mine is the very first Iron Man.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yep. On that one, like, it's the start of all of it. You don't get the MCU without that movie being absolutely amazing. And it was absolutely amazing. The balance of all the different aspects of the film, you get all of the emotion, you get the humor, you get the action. There's the at that point when it first came out, the unexpected, oh my god, this person close to me is the actual villain. We now know that Marvel does that in most things, but at that point it was fun and new. And it was just it was so good. It was so good.
This is the movie that kicked it all off, right?
Kicked it all off. We don't get anything else. I don't know what else we need on that to put it on this.
Yeah, the only the one detraction, I guess I would say, is it's a shame that this became the template for every Marvel movie after this, especially origin films for their characters after this. They all borrowed heavily from Iron Man, so it to me it
so
kind
that's not
of
the fault of this movie. That's the fault of people that are writing afterwards.
I never said it was, but it still makes me look at this movie now with a bit of a jaundiced eye, because now I see this movie every time there's a new Marvel movie. So it's taken some of the shine and the polish off of this one. I can't help that. That's just how my brain works. Like, this movie did that to everything else. Obviously, all the bullshit that happened with Terrence Howard, I love me some Don Cheadle. Cheadle is the fucking man. I love him in everything, but it's just so weird with all the Terrence Howard thing. But come on. Can we talk about the single greatest piece of casting that has ever happened? You can make your argument for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You can make your argument for Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is like,
It's
if
so perfect.
God himself was doing casting or herself was doing casting for movies, that's who God picks.
Yep.
Unbelievable how I've never seen a role fit a person so well.
So
Just owned it. There is no MCU. It's not just without Iron Man. There's no MCU without Robert Downey
without
Jr.
Robert Downey
Period.
Jr.
Period.
Yeah.
Whatever you like or
Someone
hate
else
or
that
whatever,
doesn't
whether you got tired of him, whatever the case may be, none of this happens without him in that role. Guaranteed. And Jeff Bridges is the bad guy. Sign me the fuck up. Yes. Did every movie after that end up being Iron Man versus Iron Man? Yes. Who cares? Jeff fucking Bridges. Ugh. Chewing scenery. And the 10 rings and Pepper Pot. Come on. Yeah. No, dude. This movie's genius.
Getting everything in there.
Nope. Chef's kiss. Number 3 on my list, man. So good. So good. To me, it's number 1 on that list.
I don't
Yeah,
think I have
that
anything to
list, I have
add,
number one.
and I will agree with that as well.
Like, ugh.
There we go.
We miss you.
Iron
We
Man.
miss you, Tony. We miss you.
Maybe was
Mr.
why
Jeff.
I was crying like a baby in Endgame, and
Right.
I was not okay.
Let's get this one out of the way, kids. You know what? Now I'm torn as to which one. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to talk about my number 1. I'm going to talk about Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, damn it. That's my number 1.
I was going to say Infinity War. Which one do you want me to talk about?
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's go. We'll talk about this one. Yeah,
Captain
yeah. Let's talk
America,
about it. Might as
the
well.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So
Looking for the
again,
damn image.
I know. You look for the damn image. I'll
Go ahead. Yeah.
So here's the funny part. If it's been a while since you've watched Captain America, the Winter Soldier, I suggest you go back and give it another watch. And there's one really good reason why something extraordinary is going to stand out to you about this film. No, it's not how hot Scarlett Johansson is. Although, damn. What's going to stand out to you about this film is there's not a single joke told in this entire movie. There is not one moment of genuine levity in this film. This is the most serious MCU movie that's been made to date, bar none. There's nothing else. Even Eternals has quips and jokes in it. The Winter Soldier has almost zero. There's 1 or 2 very small lines. Jefferson Pierce asked Nick Fury to have Iron Man at his kid's birthday. And Natasha's talking about taking a bullet and she can't wear bikinis anymore. And Steve's like, yeah, I'm sure you look really terrible in them. And then she makes him kiss him on escalator or whatever. But honestly, there's no jokes in this film. It is the best, the most tightly threaded film that they've ever done. The overall themes of this film, Steve has the best line in this whole movie. Something about, I'm here to pick up a fossil. Yeah. Something about, once you start, whatever it is, the totalitarian government that obviously Nick Fury is trying to create, like trying to head off crime before it even happens, right? Trying to instill rule by fear and such. It's everything against what Steve's about. Plus, it's the best Captain America suit, in my opinion, is in this film as well. That stealth suit. Just an amazing movie, which is funny because the Winter Soldier character itself is one of my least favorite MCU characters, but it still works in this film. The tie-in, having it be Bucky, that whole 9 yards, dude. You get the introduction of Sam. Come on, man! Like, what an amazing film. Yeah, and yeah, we finally get to see Steve trying to put a life together after being frozen for 70 years. He's not just thrown into the action and chasing after bad guys and beating up Red Skull and figuring shit out in Avengers. This is Steve trying to just live his fucking life and just be Steve Rogers, man out of time. And they won't let him.
Nope. And
then the whole Hydra thing, like my only quip about this movie, the only portion of this movie that I didn't feel worked is the whole Arnim Zola thing in the computer in the bunker. That part I feel was the weakest part of the film. Everything else in this film is top shelf. Robert fucking Redford. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Anyway,
Arnim Zola was pretty silly, especially considering how important Arnim Zola is as a villain, within the Avengers brand as a general.
Yeah.
what they did there was just
Dumb.
like a throwaway thing, right? Like,
But even like him being able to transfer his consciousness into computers that were out in the 50s, it's just so ludicrously stupid.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that whole scene doesn't work. Thankfully, that whole scene is just there for an exposition dump. That's all it is.
Mhm.
They could have done that in a million different ways. They chose to do that way. That's not great. It's 10 minutes of information you need to have for the movie to work. Okay.
Mhm.
Fine. On your left. Yeah, no, dude, there's so many. To me, this is the setup movie for everything to come. You need this film to set up Infinity War and Endgame, in my mind, because you have to know what kind of man Cap is and what he's going to stand for and stand against. And this is the film that gives you that, way more so than the Winter Soldier, and a whole lot more. And I know I'd probably get some arguments about that, a whole lot more than Civil War. This is the film where you find out who Captain America actually is, to me. Anyways, we need a Captain
I mean, I don't
America.
know how much more we can add. I mean,
Sorry, I know,
guys,
man. I
we've
went
got
off on a rant.
Jeff
I'm
is
so
one hell of
sorry.
a mouthpiece tonight, guys. I mean, he
I'm
just
sorry.
gets
Her
going.
opinions?
I'm sorry.
We should just list movies and have Jeff talk
Nope.
about them. That's what we
Nope,
should do.
I'm shutting up. I'm
Like, so
done.
this one, this one.
Sorry.
No, that was amazing. That was like, holy cow! Like
I'm passionate about this movie, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You guys.
I
please.
agree with everything that you mentioned. The new helicarriers were badass. The action in this was top notch. The Winter Soldier to me was not a superhero movie.
No, not at all.
Right? It was more of like a spy thriller type
100%.
movie than a superhero movie.
And it's the only one of its kind in the MCU.
And it's the only one in the MCU that felt like not a superhero movie, but just a good something else, right?
Yep.
I keep saying this. We need a proper MCU horror movie. We need a proper, we need different styles of movies within the MCU. This proves that works, right? The MCU is going stale. Give us more of this. I don't know what they're waiting for. And I agree that this
Black Widow, when they did her prequel, it was a similar vibe to this one.
100%. The Black Widow movie?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. They were for sure trying to pull from this.
Yeah.
Now the Black
makes
Widow
sense
movie
because it was
happens
heavily
right
featured.
after this. No. After
No, it's
Civil
after
War?
Civil War. Yeah.
After Civil War. Right. In any case, yeah, I agree with everything you just said. The suit, by far the best Cap suit that they've had so far.
That's why that's the one I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Megan, do you want to add anything to my 10-minute friggin'
I think you got
Capgasm?
the good points of this. I also really enjoy this movie. It is, I think, the best portrayal of Widow, and she is one of my favorites, so that helps.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have it super high on my list. I think it was like 7 or 8, but yeah, I had 7. But it's on the list, so I'm good with it.
Hey, all right. It is number 1 on my list, guys.
I mean, it's number 1 on my list too, and I'm inclined to put it at number 1 here.
As Megan has a fit.
Could it go below Iron Man?
So you feel Iron Man was a better movie than Winter Soldier?
I think so.
Jeff was wearing that suit when I met
You were
him.
saying about movies holding on to crutches, and this has the crutch of the previous Avengers and Captain America movies that came before it to make it a better movie. Iron Man didn't have anything. It needed to be a good movie on its own.
Well, I mean, yes, 100%.
Do you feel like
of all the Captain America movies, this is the Captain America movie,
No, it definitely is.
right?
I understand her point though. Like Iron Man is the Iron Man movie. The Captain America: The Winter Soldier is the Captain America Winter, and you're talking about the two most popular
Yeah.
MCU characters, right?
100%.
That's why we lost them both. Andrew Saxon seems to agree Iron Man over Winter Soldier.
Michael is saying you were wearing that cap suit when he met you. Interesting.
Yep. I do wear that one a lot, and I'm going to be wearing it at Toronto again. So there we go.
Well, I'm glad you were wearing something. Captain America, the Winter. It's definitely the longest name.
It's up there.
I mean, it's holy cow.
2 lines.
It's going on 2 lines.
Mm.
Okay.
So-
Whose turn?
I don't know. Did you just make an arbitrary decision and it's just going to number 1?
Yes,
That's just
yes,
what's
he did.
happening. All right.
Well, did you guys said it was better than Iron Man? No? Oh, no. You
No,
wanted it
I
under
no,
Iron
no, no.
Man.
Shit. Is that a Word
Sorry.
document? Don't move it. Don't move a picture. It's going to be all the formatting will go to shit.
Sorry, you wanted to hear.
You and I think it's better than Iron Man, but I don't know that's the general consensus overall. So
Sorry, I thought you guys were saying you wanted it over Iron Man, not under Iron Man.
Megan
Sorry.
definitely does not want it over Iron Man. That's for sure.
All right. Is number 2 work for you?
I would say I'm good with number 2.
All right, perfect. Who picked Winter Soldier?
Who gushed over it for 15
That was
minutes?
you.
This was Jeff.
So
Jesus
then,
Christ.
does that
I
mean
need a
it's
pair of
Megan's
underwear.
turn?
Okay.
No, it means it's your turn.
It's my turn again. Oh, well then, Infinity War.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, Infinity War.
The best Avengers movie? Yes, absolutely. What's the argument?
Yeah, I mean the best. Not only the best Avengers movie, but arguably one of, if not the best MCU movie of all time for me. My top 2 were Winter Soldier and Infinity War. I don't even know where to start.
You get everybody. By the way, you get everybody.
Everybody,
You get
literally
You finally
every single character in the MCU.
You
in
finally
one
get
movie.
a complex villain that people can actually relate to and even kind of semi-empathize with. Yeah.
Well, and that was, I think, a big
Have you
part
seen
of
the
what made-
Thanos is right memes that have been going around since this movie came out?
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a million of them out there. A lot of people related to his character. A lot
Oh
of
yeah.
I have concerns about humanity then.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's finite resources, and he gets that. And it's the same argument. It's the same meme when you see Dwight from The Office saying, "We need a new plague." That's basically what he did. There's too many people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love how they structured a 7-year story. It's not 7-year, 15-year, 11 years. How many years was Phase 1 and 2?
2008 to whenever this came out, which I think would be 2019, 2018.
So 11 years.
2018. So 10 years for Infinity War.
So 10 years for
Yep.
Infinity War.
Yep.
You know, we're getting a story that they've been building for 11 years, right?
Right.
That they've been strategically, like chess pieces, laying
Guys,
the tiles.
Why are we arguing about this? It's Cap with a beard. It wins.
Well, yeah, Cap with a
Mjolnir
beard
drop.
for sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jess. Go ahead.
No. I 100% agree. Looks like you copied me though, but you know that's okay.
You copied my beard. I see you copied my beard.
Andrew Saxon is saying Infinity War, the difficulty of making a movie where your heroes lose and still make it enjoyable. The Empire Strikes Back of the MCU, so bonus points for that.
Yes and yes.
I mean, yeah. I there you go. Mic drop. We're done. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Why haven't we had Andrew on the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can someone tell that nerd to apply to be on the podcast? Jesus.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Andrew, get your ass on the podcast.
Megan, did you have anything to say about this movie
Yeah,
before we
like she's got some
decide
thoughts and feelings that we're not going to agree
I'll
with.
where
say,
we're gonna put up?
Didn't make my top 10 when I'm thinking about movies that I enjoyed the entire process through. The
Really?
second half of it, I did. I think I just fall into the trap that I like the character growth and like specific moments with each character. And when you have 30 characters in a movie, you can't have those moments. Everything is an ensemble every time, and it's just a lot of like here to here to here to here to here. It's hard to like get those emotional. The best moment in this movie for me was when Thanos got the stone from Vision. That interaction with him and Wanda and Vision, all of that together. That was the best part of this for me, but everything else was
So him
fun,
throwing
but not top 10.
him throwing Gamora off for the Soul Stone. That nothing for you, just bonk, just
Well,
blank.
no, still also good, but like
Well,
that's
she didn't like the
one
Guardians of the
of
Galaxy
the
movies,
moments
so
Well, I
in this
guess,
where
yeah.
it was more of like a one-on-one, like there wasn't a huge everyone's clamoring for screen time moments.
What I don't think they were when they were on the top of the mountain on Vormir either, but because there was just the two of them, and then he just pitched her off. Remember, there was just the two of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
okay,
the two. So fine, that one, and then
hey,
two
Yeah.
moments within it, but that's still
All right.
in like the second half of this.
So essentially, at the end of the day, like, because this is an ensemble film, that takes away from some of the emotionality of it because there's just too many people on the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for a lot of us, that's why we love this film so much, because we literally get to see everybody at once.
Oh yeah, no, it's fair. It's definitely fun, and I was bouncing back and forth for Infinity War. I think I did end up putting it as I ended up putting it as my number 10. So like it's on my list. It's just not at like the top of it.
And I think that's why I think for me anyway, I think that's why Endgame does fall off a bit of a cliff for me, because it tries to, well, it doesn't try to top this. It's like the follow-up to this.
Yeah.
And it just does not follow this on my radar in any way.
No.
It does. It takes the teamwork thing and brings it back to First Avengers, obviously, because it's got the original cast because they're trying to wrap up their stories. But also it takes the plot points that were set up within this, but focuses it down into fewer characters, which I think works better in a storytelling capacity.
If the story itself is as good, which to me, it's not anywhere remotely close to how good the story is of this one. The drive in that second one is all the time travel, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly horseshit that none of it makes sense. Still doesn't make sense. Everything the Ancient One tells Bruce is thrown out the window when Loki comes along, because they say two completely different things to explain how the multiverse exists. She centers it on the stones. Loki doesn't give a fuck about any of the stones. It's so dumb. They tripped over their own feet. None of it makes any sense. Infinity War is just straight up. Thanos wants 5 stones. He's got 2. How do we stop him? Boom. There's your movie. You've got the galaxy, literally what Mark Ruffalo says. You've got the galaxy's biggest threat coming for what he thinks is his. Yeah. It's genius in its simplicity. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's, for me, this one's so hard. And then that end battle sequence when Thor and Rocket and Groot show up in Wakanda. I'm sorry. That is the single best appearance of a hero that's ever been put on film. And I'm not even a Thor guy. And oh my God, the Bifrost hits, that axe comes out, and then he catches it and bring me Thanos and jumps into the air and all the lightning and the sky goes down. Ah, crazy town. So good. Yeah.
Let's be honest. His scene like that at the end of Endgame was amazing as well, where he turns into Viking Thor, into Ultimate Thor.
Yeah.
And same thing, his eyes just go glowing in the lightning, and it goes dark, and it's
but not like Infinity War for me, man. Oh,
for sure. So but he's when they play him right like that, Thor can be impressive.
When they make him an actual badass and not a joke, he's a badass.
Oh yeah.
When he's a joke.
Well, same like in Ragnarok, right? When he jumps on the bridge, right? Lightning,
that was super cool. It was the 5 jokes he told before he did that I didn't like, but I understand. I get it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyways, where are we putting Infinity War?
I think this is where we are going to disagree.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Because on this list, the way we have it right now, it would almost have to be number 3 for me.
I'm good with that.
The nature of the way we have it.
You guys suck.
Dude, I can't put it above the Winter Soldier, and we put that at number 2. What do you want me to tell you? I didn't make that choice.
I mean, you're right. I have it below Winter Soldier as well. But
you have Iron
have
Man
it
below
way
that.
above. Yeah, I have Iron Man below those.
Yeah. I know.
So, okay.
Well, here's the suck part. We still haven't talked about the first Avengers movie yet either, and that's going to be up in that group too. So
that's going to be up in that group
dude.
as well. Yeah.
Do we want to just get that out of the way now? Do we want to talk about Avengers?
I think I'm the next one on, and Avengers is my number 1, the very first one, 2012.
Let's get it. Let's get nasty, guys. We're probably going to have to end the podcast with this one because we're running out of time anyways. And what better way to end it?
Well, we're not even at 10 yet, are we?
Are we at 10? Is this one 10?
Oh, this would be 10, but I think there's. Well, no. I mean, from the discussion we're having, I don't think you're going to like any of my other movies.
I don't know if we're going to sneak any other ones in here, to be honest with you.
I mean, Thor Ragnarok is high on my list.
Oh, yeah. You two like that one. Oh, you didn't like it, Megan? Okay. Yeah, that one might be.
Really?
tough.
Oh, see, for me.
I wouldn't put it on. It didn't come even close.
For me, Thor is not only the best Thor movie, but it's at the top of my list of MCU movies. I have a third on my list. I loved the tone. I thought it had the perfect
Ragnarok
mix of,
on third.
Yeah. It had the perfect tone of funny and action and serious, and they found the right portrayal. Google, shut up. They found the right portrayal
Even
of.
Google thinks you're full of shit. Look at
I
that.
know
You
she
hear that?
does. I mean, but that's okay because we're here to talk about Avengers.
The Avengers.
The best MCU movie.
See,
We're going with that.
Gorg is my bro. Ragnarok is great. Thanks,
Terrible.
Steve. I appreciate that.
Korg, the one note funny, the Drax of that film. Yeah, awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Anyways,
Super dumb.
does anyone want to do Avengers? I have some things for it, but we all probably have fairly high.
Go
on our
ahead.
list.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So it was the original team up one. We didn't have everything coming together before this movie. You get the elements from Iron Man, from Thor, from Captain America that's been set up and then brought into this. You have an amazing villain within Loki and the setup to Thanos, because you get Loki showing up clearly tortured in like a way worse state at the beginning of the movie than in any other point through it, even after he's been pummeled into the concrete by Hulk. So you're like, what the hell did this? What's coming? You see him at the end and it's like, yeah. It easily stands up to rewatch. I think I've watched the original Avengers probably 15 or 20 times. Like, no issues whatsoever. There's good interactions between all of them. I think it shows a good level of, I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. The switch between the, I guess almost just they're really annoyed, like they can't stand each other at the beginning of this, and then they become a team by the end. Like it's a good character arc for the group of them together.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Jeff?
It's really hard not to get caught up in the nostalgia of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because it did something that had never been done before. So again, same thing. If you go back and watch it and like give it a really hard think, the plot of the movie and some of the elements of the movie are not all that great. And after watching it, and now you find out maybe some of the things that the guy that mostly wrote and directed this film is not a super good dude, maybe tarnishes its legacy a little bit. But this movie reminds me of Batman 89 when Batman 89 came out and how fucking mental everybody was about Batman. Batmania was, and that's pre-internet days, by the way. Batmania was everywhere. This movie was everything. It was everywhere. Everybody was talking about the Avengers because it had never been done before. All these individual movies, Incredible Hulk, Captain America, Thor, you get Scarlet Witch, or not Scarlet Witch, you get Black Widow introduced in the Iron Man films. Dude, just, yeah, like, I mean, there was nothing like it. So it's hard to top because it was the first thing to do it. And now everything's been chasing this movie since then. And for me, the only thing that got close was Infinity War. Because Infinity War was essentially the same idea. A group of heroes come together to fight after a villain that has a very specific world-conquering goal in mind type of thing, right? They just did it on a grander scale in Infinity War. But this laid the groundwork for all of that. It's fucking great. It's anytime it's on, I'll watch it. I could watch this movie every day, and be good and be happy. It accomplished exactly what it needed to accomplish. Because this was the Iron Man's not the risky movie. Thor's not the risky movie. Even that dreadfully boring first Captain America movie is not the risky movie. This is the risk. If this flops, there's nothing else. We don't get an MCU. This was their biggest swing. And they crushed it. Well, I got nothing else to say, man. What are you gonna do?
So when Iron Man came out, first of all, there was no MCU, right? Let's go right back to the beginning. Iron Man was the first movie of the MCU to come out. There was no MCU, and there was one quick little
technically, yeah, you're right, absolutely.
Well, the Incredible Hulk, sure. But,
no, they came out within months of each other. It's not like they came out basically at the same time. So you're fine. You're fine.
One little throwaway post-credit scene or mid-credit scene, actually, in this case, told us what the direction of the next, X amount of years were going to be. It told us right away what we were working to, right from day one. And what was that? The Avengers Initiative.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right from day one. We knew we were working towards the Avengers. They started creating buzz around the Avengers right from the first movie with Iron Man. When we get that Avengers movie, not only is the Avengers one of the, let's be honest, the characters of the Avengers were never the top characters of Marvel.
Nope.
But the Avengers together was a very popular title for Marvel. So we're finally getting that on screen. We're finally getting the Avengers in live action all together after this was what? This was the 7th movie? 8th movie in the series?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the
Sixth.
6th film.
Movie in the series.
Yep.
So 6 movies in, we finally get to see them all together. We get the introduction of Loki, who is probably one of, if not my favorite character in all of the MCU. Loki's amazing.
You had great taste.
I love how his arc.
Boo,
What I
you
didn't
whore.
like his show. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not a big fan of his show. It was fun, but I thought the show was silly. It broke the rules of Loki to me. It broke canon.
That's fair.
But as far as getting a character that you know right off the bat who Loki is, right? There's no ifs and buts about who he is and what kind of person that he is. But the growth that he goes through over the next 15, 20 years or whatever, how long he's been playing the character now, has been amazing, right? Since 2008. So it's 15 years? Yeah. 16 years.
The
2008.
first Thor came out 2011. So yeah,
Sorry,
he's-
2011.
Yeah.
So 13 years.
Yep.
Whatever the case is.
Don't do the math. Don't do the math.
No.
Don't do the math. It doesn't matter. The math is not important. The point I'm trying to make is he's had one of the most drastic character growth in all of the MCU, and this is where we really, really, really get flesh out who Loki is, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm done talking. Avengers and the first Avengers.
First Avengers
Where
I
do-
had as number 1.
Okay. Not number 1 for me, but
On that list,
yeah, on this list now, yeah, nowhere close.
it
For me, it would be like number 4.
3 or 4 and around there. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I could get down to 4. I couldn't have it above.
I
Infinity
could
War.
get down to 3, so I'm willing to concede, but
You can get down to 3. You'd put it above Infinity War.
I would put it above. I could put it above Infinity War, but I would no way put it above Winter Soldier. Not for me.
Or Iron Man. Okay, I can. Can you live with 3,
Iron Man,
Megan?
yes,
I
for
can
sure.
live with 3.
Okay, let's do 3. If we post a top 10 MCU films list and it has Eternals and Thor: The Dark World on it, they're gonna burn our channel to the ground.
Yeah,
You know
okay,
this,
we need
right?
to add a couple more. To
There's
this list.
no
Okay,
fucking
I was
way.
saying.
Like we need
Yeah.
to like just
You want that
shotgun a
more.
couple
My
real
computer's
quick
about to
because
die,
that's
so I need
not
to
going to
charge it 1
work.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
mean, for
would
me,
put
I
the
still say
original
Ragnarok.
Thor, put Ragnarok on there. Fine. Put Ragnarok on there. Put it because she didn't like Ragnarok either a whole lot. But I mean, I would be fine if you put it like right around Guardians. Like if you put it around 7 or 8, I'm fine with that. It's not No Way Home, Endgame, Infinity War event. It's below all those.
For me, Ragnarok is above Guardians. It's above all of these, but
It's above all of these.
yeah, for me, Ragnarok is number 3 on my list.
You need to put down the pipe, sir.
Yeah, well, no, I
That's
like the pipe,
great.
but you know,
No,
yeah, Ragnarok's 3rd on my list.
at best, I can't, dude. There's no way.
All right, Megan, where do you see Ragnarok on this list?
12.
Listen, we're trying to make it so we don't get burned at the stake for having a list with Eternals and the Dark World on it. So it's got to be above those at least.
Where's your sense of adventure? Come on.
Yeah,
Make
I
people mad.
like being alive. No, I will not put my pipe down. Settle down, Steven, over there. Settle down, Mr. Groot. I said around 7 or 8. He wants it like up at like, I don't know, some terrible. Well, dude, you would put it above Guardians of the Galaxy, I would think. You don't like that a whole lot.
Yes.
Mhm.
So could you live with it at 8?
Fine.
You're telling me you like Guardians better than Thor? Than Ragnarok?
First Guardians better than Ragnarok, yeah.
I mean, I agree, but I can acquiesce. I can live with it
All
at 8.
right, fine. How's there?
I mean,
How's
I'm
that
with
work for
Megan.
ya?
I'd be happier with 12, but that's fine. It's certainly better than the Dark World. So I'm totally okay with that.
All right. All right. What else did we not talk about here?
We touched on Far From Home. I don't know if we'd want to put that on there somewhere. I really dug the first Thor movie, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but
Yeah,
you get
I
the
guess
introduction of
first movie is-
Hawkeye.
The first Thor movie was a good movie as well. I will admit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say I had the first. Let me see where I have it. I have the first Thor as my number 6.
Yeah. So I mean, I would put it above Ragnarok and below Guardians, but if you wanted to put it below Ragnarok but above Eternals, I'd be fine with that too.
no, I would agree before. Well, I don't know. Where did you want it, Megan?
I had mine at number 6 for the first Thor.
Yeah, I couldn't put it above No Way Home. I mean, I liked it more than Black Panther, but I understand
Yeah, no,
I
I would have
understand
it
why
below
Black Panther is where it is. So I could live with it at 8.
Yeah, it's good.
Squash Guardians between Ragnarok and the original Thor.
Yeah.
There. Eternals and Thor: The Dark World are off the list. We are saved. Thank God Almighty. We will still have a YouTube channel in the morning.
Do we
Sense
wanna?
of adventure. Jeez.
Do we wanna bring up the one whose name shall not be spoken?
Who is
No,
that?
it's at the bottom of my barrel anyway.
Okay.
So is Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Ant-Man's
you
boring as
know,
shit.
is it weird that I love the MCU so much, but I have such a hard time naming movies that I really like out of the MCU?
The MCU is the best example that's ever been of the journey, not the destination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Each individual film taken on its own, it's very, very hard to find really good films. But when you look at it as an overarching journey, by the time you start and by the time you get to the end, it feels like it's worth it. But when you have to sit and watch an individual MCU film, sometimes that can be a bit of a chore, man. Sometimes
Yeah,
that can be a rough go, right? But you understand it's part of a greater tapestry, so you
Mhm.
forgive it as that's the end. The whole MCU has been relying on that since the jump. Just keep putting out enough content that you'll get that we're weaving you a tapestry, and some of those are going to be highs and some of those are going to be lows, but you're going to get to a point at the end where it's all going to seem like it's worth it, and that's what we got in Endgame.
And I want to say for the most part, it's worked. You know, I as much as I have MCU movies that are really low on the totem pole for me, I mean, I don't know that there was any that were like, oh man, this movie, like, I'm going to walk out on. Well, that's not true. Love and Thunder was really, really, really bad.
Oof.
Love and Thunder was
Oof.
like.
I think that might have been actually the breaking point for me, because I think that's the last one I went and saw in
Yeah.
the theater, and I haven't been back to the theater to see an MC movie. I don't think I've seen anything Marvel since that film. That's how mad that film made me.
So you haven't
Well,
seen the
Thunder
second
came
Black
out
Panther?
before or after
I have
Wakanda
not
Forever?
seen the second Black Panther. I didn't see any of the TV shows, and I didn't see. I haven't seen Ant-Man. So that
Does
movie
Black Panther
really,
happen
really
what,
messed
sorry?
with me.
I wasn't sure if Black Panther came out before or after Love and Thunder, because I have seen both of those, but I haven't seen anything since.
I believe it came out after.
It certainly got released on Disney Plus after, because it only just came out on Disney Plus, and Love and Thunder's been on there for a
True.
while. So
Yeah.
I would assume
Yeah.
that it came out after. Yeah. I think we can live with that list, guys. I don't know that there's a whole lot of people are going to complain about the order, but I mean, I think we're probably okay there.
I'd be interested
Look at
to
this.
compare this list to a list of top 10 non-MCU Marvel movies.
I know. That's what I see. Here's my idea. I think we do this, then we do a list of top 10 non-MCU Marvel movies, then we do a top 10 DC films, and then we take the top 3 from each of those and pit them on a top 9 greatest comic book superhero movies of all time. So we do like a series over the next like 4 to 6 months.
I'd be
So
open
we
for
can
that.
finally determine what is the Dark Knight. We can determine which the absolute best movie, Watchmen, the absolute best movie of all time is.
Watchmen. Are you
Don't I
smoking
will
something?
slap the taste right out of your mouth. Don't you
Watchmen.
dare
It's a-
say Watchmen.
It's a
The
long,
best
long
superhero
movie.
movie of all time. Like,
Uh.
what is wrong with you?
The best.
Oh my
A
god!
long,
The
long
best.
movie.
So
You
good.
see, that's a better movie than X-Men.
Way better. What are you out of your mind?
Mm.
You guys both.
Okay, I think
Washington was
we're gonna
fantastic.
have
Thanks,
to
Steve.
stop it
Appreciate
here
it, buddy.
before we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
You
is
need someone
gonna-
on your side.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Wrap this shit up, shall we?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this top 10. Guys, we've been talking about for weeks everything, all the stuff coming up. Comic-Con is coming up. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. Our first part of our build video for Toronto Comic-Con is now out. I'll spoiler it now. We're building giant stone pillars. So part 1 of that is out. There's also the badge build coming.
Yep.
So I made a bunch of Star Trek insignia badge. Those are coming. We've got the after show coming. We've got a bunch of content coming. And guys, that is all because of that lady right here. Without her, we can't keep up with the content. So, Megan, you have no idea how thankful we are to have you on board and helping us out with this.
I'm happy to finally be putting that college degree to good use.
Well, there you go. We're next week, guys. Next week, we're back to our regular programming, back to our countdown to Comic-Con. We've got CJ Prop Studio on. If you don't know CJ Prop Studio, go check him out. He's an amazing builder, builds big giant armors. So he's going to be on next week. The following week is going to be Mr. Reed's Props Plus. Whew, and after that, it's Comic-Con live from the floor.
Shit.
So yeah, a couple fun weeks coming. Anything else you guys want to pitch and talk about? Actually, CK is this weekend, isn't it?
No, heck no. End of April. CKXO is April 30th.
Oh, what's the one coming up? Isn't there one coming up in your area?
No, sir. Not in February. No. God, no. I've got like a gig in early March, and then I've got a gig. I got a gig the week before March, and then I got a gig the week after March, but those are just two small, like mall-based sort of gigs or whatever. So that's nothing. Yeah, TCC is the next big one, then CK Expo, and then we're still in negotiations, but we can make it official. May the 4th, London Brewing Co-op, in conjunction, hopefully with London Comic Con. We're talking to them as well. Geeks and Co events. We are figuring out the details as we speak, but yeah, dude, London Brewing Co-op. If you're in London and you like craft beer and you love Star Wars, come on out, because you're gonna have a blast.
It's free. Just this past weekend.
3 until 9. It's gonna be amazing. Come on out for that. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And then 2 days after that, it's free comic book day, and we'll be coming out in force for that too. So make sure you get around London for that, lads and lassies.
Yes.
Kitchener was just this past weekend. I did not. Oh, the Tricon one was, yes. Not Kitchener Comic Con, but Tricon was, yeah. Yep. Anywho, that's it, man.
Megan?
Yeah. I would say I don't really have any events or anything going on right now. For my business, I still have a pre-order for one of my new coat designs. I'm doing my first run of actually like manufacturing a piece with a garment producer up in Scarborough. So that's fun. If you want to go over to my website, customwear.ca, you can see that. Check out my sewing. It's good. Other than that, going to be working on my Widow suit. I need to get that done before Toronto Comic Con.
You sure do.
So I'll be doing that. That's going to be my next few weeks.
Yeah, because it's coming up very quick.
Well, the gig that I have the week before Toronto Comic Con, she's coming out for that gig as Widow. So
I've got 1 week less than I thought I did, but that's okay.
We're gonna do an Avengers thing. So yeah.
I'll be able to do it.
You fixed the helmet. Yay! He's got a face again. Woo!
Hey, there's a face.
It's got a face again, although it's funny how it starts like this before it ends up like that.
Why are you pointing at his dick? What are you doing?
You know?
All right.
But yes, I'm in full Comic-Con mode as well. Like,
hell yeah.
Yep.
You know, trying to finish and like my armor needs a bunch of fixes too, and I'm fixing my helmet. I'm fixing Rob's helmet. I got a bunch of t-shirt orders. Hey, by the way, guys, we have a store. Forgot to mention it at the top of the show. Guys, we have an all new store. Thank you very, very much to Miss Jamie. Hey, listen, Smoky Jam. She set up our store. It's amazing. Go check it out. Go to our website. Oh, it's geeksandcompany.ca. It's the easiest that we could find. I wish we could have had something easier, but It's what was available. First link at the top is our shop. Go check it out. If you want to help support the podcast, check out the shop. Make sure you subscribe. That is completely free. It really, really helps us out, especially when you click the like button. Click that like button. It helps propagate the podcast out to the YouTube sphere. And if you click the notification bell, well, you'll never miss when we go live. Megan, thank you so much. I'm sure we will be seeing you, more of you, I should say, on the podcast. We will be seeing you live at Toronto Comic Con. It's going to be a fun time. Mr. Geoff?
Yeah! Thanks once again to my indelible co-host, Mr. JS Belanger, the newest member of the team, that Valkyrie girl, our buddy Rob, who is not here with us today, and of course, producer Jen, who's also not here with us today. That is your Geeks & Co. team. We are going to be at Toronto Comic Con. It is going to be a fucking blast. We want to see each and every one of you coming around the booth saying hi, getting some
I'm
pictures
so
with our
excited.
dope
I
sets.
can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. We'll be hungover, but it's okay. Yeah, make sure you are checking out this new stuff on the Geeks & Co. channel here on YouTube, and check out the store and listen to the podcast. There's so much content, guys. We're bringing you so much content. How do you find the time? I don't. That's why I look perpetually tired. I'm actually only 27 years old. I just look this old. That's it.
Bunch more content coming. Bunch more content coming. So keep your eyes wide open, folks. Geeks & Company ain't going nowhere.
Nope. We are here to stay.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay geeky. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, to make sure you never miss anything.